the vultures, they always showed up where pretty much Remick or the vampires was gonna go. Yes, sir. Welcome back to Redacts Show. I'm your host, Wafik, or Feek, with my co-host, my other host.
It's your co-host, Dana Dane, in the building. And we are back, not with an episode this time.
Ooh.
With a special review for a very special movie that came out this Easter weekend. It is very ironic that a movie called Sinners came out on Easter weekend.
Hey,
but
man.
that's neither here nor there. But yes, we are talking about this Ryan Coogler masterpiece starring Michael B. Jordan and others. And I would almost go as to say he wasn't even the star of the show. But we'll get into all that just before we get into our non-spoilery and spoilery review. We would greatly appreciate if y'all get us to that 100 subscribers. This is not the 100th episode, but it is coming, and y'all not ready for it. And before we get there, we need y'all to get us to that 100 subscriber count, that honey bun. Please subscribe, rate us a 5-star, spread us word of mouth, subscribe to our podcast feed on all listed platforms. And with that being said, let's get into this review. Let's not waste any more time. So, Sinners.
Yes, sir.
Came out April 18th, 2025. Directed by Ryan Coogler, starring Michael B. Jordan and others. Delroy Lindo. I thought someone knocked on my door. Miles Canton, who this is his first movie
ever.
He's just an R&B and music artist. And man, can that nigga sing.
Ooh.
Woobi Masaku, who we know her from, shows like the TVA and other
Lovecraft Country
shows like that. Lovecraft Country. And Jack O'Connell, Jamie Larson. The main cast was pretty small. How could I even forget about Shamik Moore's work wife, Haley Steinfeld?
You crazy for that. Work wife. Oh man, but yes, this movie had a lot of good cast, and we are going to talk about each character for the most part. But before we do that, I just want to talk about some of the things Sinners has done so far since its release. So since its release, it opens with 61 million worldwide, and that's just from this day, which is 4/20. It had the biggest domestic opening this decade for an original film.
Damn.
Again, I want to say the biggest domestic opening this decade. The highest grossing domestic IMAX opening ever for a horror film. And it's been some great horror in the past few years. It also got an A+ cinema score. It's at 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's one of the highest rated films ever. Across, look, not just horror, highest rated films ever. So, like we said in some of our thoughts before, we said this has the potential to be one of the best. I think it's proven it very fast. It is one of the best.
This is going to turn into a cult classic movie if it hasn't already. I feel like it has just a little bit for everybody.
Exactly.
It just was done so well, and it wasn't even like a conventional horror movie. And I think that's what takes horror movies over the top, because I feel like the main stigma with horror movies in general is, you don't really need a horror movie. Don't need to be good. It just need to be gory or scary, or do whatever this function. And these, along with other examples we've gotten, but this one especially blows that stigma out of the water, because I wasn't even necessarily scared the whole time, just more so on edge and at the edge of your seat.
Yeah.
Especially because it's not like how most conventional horror movies are, where it may be 10 minutes in and shit happen, or they're just trying to jump scare you or something like that. And it was with this one, no, there's a build up, but once shit hit the fan,
oh man, it
goes 0 to 20. We go 0 to 100 actually.
Fast.
exactly in 20 seconds.
And I think another good thing about this film was it had a lot of deep meanings in there, but also I feel like you didn't have to search and do 100% I have to read all these Wikipedia pages of research to understand what this meaning was. It was very in your face, like this is what this means. And I think that was real good because it was a friendly film, to say the least, of like if you wanted to know more you could get more out of it, but a lot of the stuff was face value for you, like this is literally what it means. So I think that was really good about this film as well.
And to your point, Ryan Coogler gave the audience a lot to chew on, because this is one of those movies where you can come back to it multiple times and find something different that you missed on your previous watch. I feel like if I'm probably gonna watch this movie again soon,
I will.
I know there's just something I'm gonna notice in this movie that I didn't my first watching it, and just that's what makes movies like this is so special, is because there's always something, some deeper layer, something you missed that jumped out at you, and you don't have to feel like you need to watch 50 million YouTube explainers on what you just watched.
What the grass meant. Like
exactly. But man, in terms of, we're kind of already going into our non-spoiler review. Just the cast was amazing. What also stuck out to me the most, what really resonated with me the most, is the music. The soundtrack was amazing, and you could argue that the music did just as much storytelling / plot development as the writing and actors and actresses themselves. Like, the music was so integral in this movie. Mm-hmm. Without that, you don't have Sinners.
Exactly.
You don't have this movie.
Yeah, and I agree with you specifically with that. So I really think Ludwig Göransson, he was the song composer. He's been on almost every Ryan Coogler film. One side note, I want to say, this is something I found out. They were actually roommates.
That's crazy.
So
I didn't know that.
Whoever at that university or wherever they were when they were roommates put that together, you changed the course of history. But
you need a promotion in student resident housing, whatever that Cheryl. You need to be like the ROC of Cheryl. If you're from UH, you know what we're talking about.
Yeah, but like you said, the music, I think, really much amplified the scenes, and I think, without spoiling, a lot of the music correlated to what was going on in scenes or feelings. So yeah, overall non-spoilers review, since we're kind of finishing up it now. I mean, if I just have to give a rating, I already said it, but it's a 10 out of 10 for me. If I really wanted to nitpick something, it would be probably the very, very beginning. For like the first 10 minutes, I felt it was a single bit slow at one part. But outside of that, bro, that's me forcing a nitpick.
Yeah.
That's me trying to find something wrong. But outside of that, bro, 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, this is like very close to a 10 for me. Like, I'll just go ahead and say like 9.5. The only reason was there was maybe like one, like you said, one scene, and it wasn't even like, maybe watching it again, I don't know, maybe I'm just overthinking it, but that's just like one scene where it was like, what the hell is going on? I had to kind of grew to like get into it. I was like, okay, this is what they're talking about. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'd say our first watch is definitely like a 9.5. Like, I don't see how you come out of this unless you're just a dry hater, not putting this any lower than like a 9 realistically.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a movie critic, I don't see how you put this lower than, like, to be honest, an 8.5. Like, this is a movie that we need to protect at all costs. If they go and burn down the libraries and shit, we need to make sure this movie
It
needs to be in its own fireproof suitcase. But going in, you know how we like to do our reviews. You know, we'll kind of just talk character by character and scenes that we've liked or stuck out to us and different things like that. Different things we noticed or picked up on. But I know you wanted to start off with Michael B. Jordan, Smoke and Stack.
Start off with that two-headed monster, man. I would like to say anything I've ever said about Michael B. Jordan, and it's only and honestly,
you and Jax owe this man an apology.
it was only one movie.
No. Y'all the same niggas that was like, right, Michael B. Jordan only plays a nigga in every role he does. You and Jax probably said it. I know Jax is gonna watch it, and he cannot say he didn't say this. He said it, and you co-signed on it. Y'all both owe this man an apology.
Hey, look,
after this performance,
y'all know me. Y'all know I will definitely apologize. I would say I know when I'm wrong. Michael B. Jordan has always been a good actor, but there was one role. I'm not going to talk about it because that's going to maybe go into Teddy. There was one role I said, all right, bro, but that's outside the point. He did the damn thing on this movie, playing both roles of Smoke and Stack. It was real cool to see a dynamic between one person, and it felt like two people. Like
it did. And I don't mean to cut you off, like, not to the point where, like, it's the typical, like, identical twins, but they're so polar opposites. It's like comedic. They're like comedically opposite. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, yes, they're not the same, but they're two different people.
Yeah.
And they don't even need to, even physically, like, obviously the only way to denote them is one was more so blue and the other red, but like just their persona. You knew when Smoke was in the room, or you knew when Smoke was on the scene versus Stack.
Yeah, because Smoke was the more composed, business-minded. Stack was the more free-minded, more so like, look, we doing business, but I also want these people to enjoy themselves. I want everybody to enjoy themselves more. Exactly. So that, and I really, from looking at it, just from my experience, like knowing a couple of twins themselves, I was watching, I was like, he really acted like, from what I've seen, he really acted like some twins, bro. And so I just mean that was great, that dynamic they had.
Yeah, and just like brothers in the end, because like anytime I see brothers always, or just brothers in media, I just think about like Cam and Ian, and just like how we are together, especially being so close in age. And just like their dynamic done right, and just everything they've been through, coming from Chicago, being self-made, working for the mafia, coming back down. It almost was like okay, it's one of those things where you get this big and you try to come back to your community and like uplift it or just make it better than when you left. That's kind of what I took away from stuff like that. I don't know if you thought the same or agree, but just like they may have got dirty money, but they're trying to put that money back in their community.
Exactly. I think one big thing too that I liked throughout the movie that they kept saying was "for us, by us," and that really rings true even nowadays. You see from different groups we got in like these different cities where a lot of time that's the slogan that's still used now. This is for us, by us. It's a safe space for us to congregate and do things without worrying about outside drama, trauma, and all this other stuff dictating how we act.
Exactly. And when they first said that, my thought was immediately went to FUBU. Because that's what FUBU means, like the brand. So it's like that on top of everything you just said. I'm like, man, niggas trying to uplift niggas and give back to niggas.
Yeah.
For niggas, by niggas. But yeah, just, I was, Michael B. Jordan. I thought I was familiar with your game. I was not. There's some people that have been on this show that owe you an apology. They know who they are. But this was like masterclass performance, especially just playing two people. And shout out to Ryan Coogler and just the cinematography of putting the same person in the same room in the same scene, and it didn't look cheesy or corny or just bad. You could tell. You thought these were two different niggas. You thought this was a Michael B. Jordan clone.
You thought it was Michael C. Jordan.
And then the whole time, I was just thinking, like, man, I don't know why I kept thinking this, but like, man, Jonathan Majors. Now, I almost think like, okay, I don't know if this just because you know how Jonathan Majors acts. I don't know if this would have worked.
I don't think it would have, bro.
I don't think so. Especially after watching this now, I know I've made that claim before, but watching this now, I'm like,
I don't think it would have worked.
What brother would he have played, Smoke or Stack? I don't know if it would have worked.
He would have had to be a single character
twins.
if he was in this. Because after watching that performance, I don't think nobody else could have been that. And honestly, after watching it, I think it would have took away if they were fraternal twins. I think it would have took away the impact of one, the scenes near the end. We're going into spoilers, just so y'all know. The spoiler-free review was earlier.
Yeah.
We're about to talk about spoilers. But the scenes near the end when he was about to kill him and he stopped because we saw he lived longer. And then also when they were talking about how they were abused by their dad, just that dynamic too of being identical twins and that hurt of one still being connected to the other one. That was
Now everything, like all the tropes about just twins we know today, and it wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have worked with a fraternal twin, and just like, okay, if Jonathan Majors was Michael B. Jordan, I don't even know if it would have worked too. I mean, he's a great actor.
I don't think it would have.
But man,
I don't think it would have.
But the person who I think deserves the spotlight is Miles Canton.
Whew.
This man here, for this to be his first
this little light of
movie
mine,
project,
I'm gonna let it shine.
So I have a theory about that, and I guess I'll get into it right now. So that scene, that end credit scene at the end, when he was singing that, my theory is when he's saying that, that's when he summoned Remick. I don't know. That's what I thought of when I was putting that movie, because I feel like there was a point in the movie where Remick was singing that tune, or it was around that same kind of time of day, maybe a little later, because Remick just appeared out of nowhere.
Well, he was getting chased by the Native Americans.
By the Native Americans. What was they? The Choctaw.
I honestly don't remember what tribe it was.
Who was getting chased by them? I don't know. Maybe that's when he appeared through that song, because obviously the movie says that there's people who sing whose voices are so powerful, they conjure up demons or just spirits across the plains of time.
They're able to talk to people in the afterlife, but they're also their songs are so powerful it attracts bad things that want to take advantage of them.
Yeah. And I think that message has so many layers to it, because that talks about just people, just great singers we have now, like just shooting off the dome, Beyonce, or just other main artists we know now, where their voices are so powerful, like it moves people to tears or just to emotions, and they just transcend the time period that they're in. Like, you could have played Beyonce back in the fucking in the 1930s in this moment, and she still would be Beyonce. And that's what I kind of took from that, especially that scene where I thought almost visualize that in a way where Miles Preacher Boy was in the juke joint singing his song, and it just goes to all these different cultures and all these different the rooms and different people from across the globe. I thought it was hilarious when it was like the women twerking and like that brunch spot. I immediately thought of fucking Prospect Park and Houston. I'm like, this is some Houston shit.
I will say that scene, when that scene started and I realized what it was doing, that's probably one of the best scenes I've seen in the past, I don't know how long. Because as you said, it was flowing, showing the different eras of music from the past all the way to the future. It was showing different ways dancing is incorporated with the music. And then I'm pretty sure that was a one shot. If I'm not mistaken, it felt like it was a one take.
It felt like one.
So, and that was like, that shit was like 2 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes long.
Just showing the different cultures across this, like, just showing different cultures across the world that we see in that one room because of how powerful this man's voice is, and it could just make everyone at ease and just move. Like the power, the energy vibrations in music has on people.
Exactly.
Is transcendent. And man, Miles, that nigga, nigga can say he's about to be on everything.
He about to be booked and busy, boy. Whoever your agent is, they about to get some calls. They about to get some calls.
They about to say calls. Y'all about to make some bread.
Did you see? They said apparently, he was practicing like 5x amount of hours every day to like get ready for that role.
Learn that guitar because he never played guitar before this showing. I seen the interview he was talking about that. I'm like, that is some skill.
That's some dedication.
Nigga, imagine. Well, first of all, I'd do anything for some money. Well, pause. Not anything. Let's calm down, Dana. Not anything.
That's great.
But I will learn any skill for if the money's right. If you ask me, Dana, we need you to go weld on this fucking structure and you got 10 days to learn, but we're going to pay you $1 million. I'm just making a hypothetical. I'm getting in that booth. I'm getting all the ride I can, and I'm welding my ass off. Hey, but it can be good. I'm learning what I need to do for that money, first off. But the skill it takes for him to learn that fast and for it to be that good. Like the interviewer said, and I felt the same way. I'm like, you couldn't tell he learned this skill
in the past year or two.
Past month. I thought it was shorter than like the past 5 months.
I'm just saying, like, it was at least a year or less than a year.
Yeah.
However, it was short compared to. It was short.
Most people that are musicians that take years to learn guitar.
Yeah. So his performance, amazing. I think another performance that I think is definitely gonna help this actress, Haley Steinfeld. Her acting in this is the best acting I've seen her do.
Yeah, and like she's a great actress. Like obviously we know her from Into the Spider-Verse and even Hawkeye and other mediums as well. Yeah, those are the main ones I know her.
Yeah, she's in another movie, Older, but
she was in Bumblebee. She was the main character in Bumblebee. Yeah, I forgot about that.
But
yeah,
this
Sinners.
This is projecting her prices up too. And one thing I will say I like that they added in was that real life thing about her.
Black.
Yeah, well, an eighth, but
she's a quarter black
in real life. Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
you're lying.
I swear
I thought that was for the movie.
No, that's in the movie.
I did not realize she got some. I was waiting on her to say nigga or some nigga shit.
When she told Preacher Boy, he was like, I don't think you should be here. He was like, I went to it. She said, boy, get the fuck out of my face. I die laughing. But nah, but no, she really is. I think it's really is like her great grandpa because they put up the thing. I think one was Filipino. This is about to be wrong, more than likely, but I think one great grandparent was like Filipino and white, and the other one was like black, something like that. But you know, she really is like an eighth, or she has some black in her. So I think that was really
Wow.
I think that was really cool to use, and I also think that's something that was really cool to see, especially in that time, Jim Crow, because it's like we all know about the one drop rule and all that stuff, and how even Stack was like, "Look, we ain't about to let these people know that you black." Like, even though that was a very short discussion between them, I think that was something really intricate with that time, where it's like, look, if you can have a better life outside of all this BS that's going on,
Yeah.
let's get you to that better life and not be in this BS.
Yeah. I have you in this nigga shit.
Yeah. So I think her performance was really good. Also, and when she said that one line, she said,
Which one?
You've been robbing trades. What she say? You've been robbing trades and people.
Oh yeah.
You can't steal this cat tonight.
Yeah, I was like,
I would have folded.
you got me. You got me.
Hey.
You got me. If I was Michael B. Jordan, if I was smoking Stack
Lawn chair boy.
in that moment,
Folding. Lawn chair boy.
you're right. You are right.
We going to the root. But one.
I would have been a vampire that night. I don't care.
Yeah.
If Joe came in that bitch talking to me like that, you would have had to call me Blade, because I was.
But yeah, Haley Steinfeld definitely did the thing. Another great. Well, I think this. Oh, did you have something real quick?
This is completely off topic.
Okay.
But does that mean Josh Allen's kids gonna be black too?
Hey, technically, they gonna be part.
They gonna have some nigga in them.
They had Doodle Bob and us in them. God damn.
Doodle Bob. Ooh, that's
a
dangerous. I'm sorry. I should have. That's our topic. But what were you about to say?
I was gonna say, I think one of the best. Granted, let me say this: everybody in this movie was acting they
Ass
off,
off.
but also Delroy Lindo. He needs to win Best Supporting Actor.
Yes.
Him and Mal. Actually, I would put Mal as, he need to be put as a lead, even though he technically wasn't lead. He need to be put as a lead.
Those two, they might almost beat each other out because of how good they were in their performances.
But him as Delta Slim, man, he was acting his, like we said, off. And the comedy in here, I'm so glad none of the comedy, and we know Ryan Coogler's good anyway, but none of the comedy felt forced. All this shit flowed. It felt like he was talking to your relatives.
Yeah. Yeah, like it was good. I feel like from the first Black Panther and just other stuff, he's gotten a lot better with, from the Hey Auntie. I don't know if that was more so just a Michael B. Jordan thing, but they're pretty much attached at the hip. Like, from that's just refining comedy in movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like the comedy was very well done.
Yeah.
Almost like was perfectly timed to ease the tension off, because some shit would happen.
Boy.
Like when Smoke got killed and turned into a vampire and just burst down the door and ran out the house.
It was Stack.
And just this Stack.
You was right the first time. But no,
When
keep
Stack
going.
did that shit. Yeah. And then everybody's just there like, what the fuck just happened? And then fucking Delta Slim go and say, I just shit myself. Like, that's perfect. That's good timing comedy. Like, that's how you play comedy.
Yeah. So,
But
I think one other thing, I know we talked about a little bit how this is like the Jim Crow era. I think one thing about this film, one, when Delta Slim was talking about how they were pretty much fucked over, like when they showed the those prisoners whatever working on the side of the road, and Preacher Boy was like, you know them? He was like, I know every single one of them. And he was talking about how they was taken in by police. They was pretty much paraded around and do all this blues shit. And then they pretty much got fucked over at the end. But one, I think they continuously showed how a lot of times black people in this time, you could do everything right and somebody still would fuck you over. And I think another thing that I also liked about the film is that while it was in this Jim Crow era, and it definitely showed you the sharecroppers, all the messed up shit, it never felt like I'm trying to word this correctly, it never felt like I was watching I don't want to say sob dramatic story. That's not the right.
It didn't feel like I was watching 12 Years a Slave.
It didn't feel like I was watching. It felt like I was watching a movie that had a lot of hope in it, and it felt like I was watching a more like realistic, where it's like, yeah, I know that. Like, I'm not trying to diminish anything that happened during this time period. Yes, we know all that shit was bad, but like, we know we got this juke joint we can go to where we all can feel free for this one moment. I think that's why they kept amplifying, like, for these few hours, we're going to be free. We just going to let all the worries about the outside world go away and not think about it. And I think that was really a powerful message in the film, because it is kind of like how people live today. You know, even though people say, well, you just living for the weekend. Well, some people, I'm not trying to be me, but some people, that is kind of one way they only have, because you work so much, you do all this other stuff during the week, you really only got that weekend to let yourself be free. Whether you actually partying or not, you do only have that weekend where you can have time to chill and be with yourself. So I think that was really something powerful.
When I say that, everything you just said is felt. And as a nigga who works 12-hour days, basically every day, except Monday through Friday. But yeah, like, working for the weekend, it's all you got.
Yeah.
Like, the weekend is everything you look forward to. So imagine back then. This is now. Like, imagine back then where you're making pennies on the wooden dollar, on the buffalo nickel. All you got is this wooden token. You're like, man, just for them to fuck you over anyway, which is basically the plot twist where the plot twist at the end where this was never going to be theirs. This was just a setup by the clan. He was actually a grand wizard. Even because when that owner of the property said that, like when Smoke and Stag was talking to him, was like, we see you and your buddies over here, like, we blasting all y'all. And he's like, oh, the clan
gone
no more. And I'm like, we know that's a lie, but it didn't register to me that he was a grand master. I didn't pick that up.
Yeah.
I just thought that was things obviously white people say to black people, just like, oh, we're tame around here. Like, we don't do that stuff anymore.
Yeah.
That's a lie. Not only was it a lie, this is your master plan. You're like, these dumbass niggas, literally, probably like, these dumbass niggas, I'm about to send these niggas this land. We about to have a slaughter day come sunrise.
Yeah.
Boy, was he mistaken.
Yes. So that's one thing that's just wild. Another thing I really liked was Remick. Ryan Coogler does a very good job writing a villain that you can see their viewpoint clearly, and I'm not gonna say you can go with it, but you can see exactly why they do what they do. And I think making Jack O'Connell, he's the actor who played Remick. Making Remick Irish, I think, was something else that was very good, because the Irish went through a lot of stuff, similar things that a lot of minorities went to, especially black people, where different religions and things was forced upon them and
taken from them.
Yeah, and taken from them. So I think it was really amplified by seeing somebody else that's also in a bad position be this force, this natural disaster force-ish.
Yeah, like I think in the moment, because I didn't know that going into the movie, I just thought he was like a motif as like, oh, just white people trying to get in with us and trying to be invited to the cookout. But just what stuck out to me the most was like that scene where he's singing what was that, like something in the Dublin, riding into Dublin or something like that.
I don't remember. I remember the Red Robin song.
Is it Irish, like old kind of, I guess, folk song, whatever? But he sung that, and obviously, everybody getting crunk in there. And when I was watching it, I thought it was like, oh, maybe just Irish or with white people trying to, like, almost like a battle of cultures in a way. Like, oh, this is ours. No, here's what we got in terms of Battle of the Blues and stuff like that. Obviously, that was wrong, or maybe not wrong, but just how I interpreted it in the moment. But just like you bringing up the point of like the Irish, they went through some shit too. Yeah, and he just wanted a sense of belonging, because being from Irish is that he's seen his people get done wrong. He's seen us get done wrong in this time, and still getting done wrong in this time. But it's a conversation for another day.
Yeah,
but he just seemed like, hey, let's come together. Like together, we're stronger.
And and
the only way we can do that is if you let me change you.
Yeah, I really liked how they added that on too. When her name, I forgot the actress's name, but the other vampire, I know her last name's Kirkman, but she's she's an actress and a singer. But they were pushing that message of like, yeah, we can be together, we can be this one group, and shoot, if we work together, we can go get rid of the Klan too. We gonna go get rid of them anyway, but you just have to join us. Yeah. But this was like a forceful join. It wasn't no, like, I guess, cohesive style. So that was really cool.
Because it wasn't like he was racist. Like in the moment, now I think about it, he never portrayed like race. Like he never.
Yeah, no, he wasn't.
I hate what because I was like, he never gave racist. I'm like, that's nasty. How you give racism? Shut the hell up, Data. But yeah, that wasn't his MO. He was just like, hey, like, I may look like this, I may pass, I go with the lingo, whatever, That's because he's been around and seen a lot. But like, I'm trying to, me and you, we're alike, and he's saying that. We're seeing that in his music. He's just trying to portray that in his music, in his culture. But
yeah, and that scene. So the scene when they were outside the barn, right, and they were doing the Irish jig and everything.
Yeah,
I will say that scene was low key disturbing. Like seeing all them, like just them in the circle going around doing their different dances, him doing the jig, and just the music itself at that time. I was like, bro, this is disturbing. I said, it's catchy, but it's just disturbing how it's presented.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel the same way just watching. I'm like, I don't know if I should like be getting crunk, because everybody else is getting crunk.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I should be getting crunked or be feeling like uneasy. And I felt uneasy, but I'm like, this song kind of go hard. And then it's showing Remick basically jigging in the middle of the circle.
Yeah, middle of the dance circle.
And then moshing in front of him. I'm like, oh, this is how these Irish niggas get down.
Yeah.
Also, Grace, that scene, I don't care what nobody says, that scene pissed me off so bad. When the husband come in, I'm like, are you stupid?
Our whole theater, bro. Our theater was packed. Our whole theater, somebody said, what the fuck?
I'm like, why would you say that? Y'all know all of y'all are gonna die. You literally gave them the green light.
Yeah, and it made me mad too when she threw that Molotov and Remy just tossed it aside like, what?
Like, what do you think I was going to do? These are the traditional vampires. I also thought that was kind of funny in the sense of like, okay, like, yeah, we're gonna lean into the garlic. We're gonna lean into the steaks in the heart.
Yeah.
We're gonna lean into the holy water.
Mm-hmm. Inviting you in.
Inviting you in. I ain't seen that trope in a minute. Most of these vampire niggas, they just
they walk in.
Those rules don't apply to them.
They walk in the crib now.
They just pop by to show niggas. The only thing that's consistent is obviously the sunlight. They cannot be in the sun unless they're a day walker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't see that. I thought that was fun just seeing those tropes again. I'm like, this is, and it wasn't. My thing is everything functioned and everything worked.
Yeah.
Like
everything felt
letting you
right.
in. You know, like when Cornbread was trying to get in, I thought the same thing. I'm like, you mean to tell me this whole time you have to ask permission for something or a place you've been guarding? Like, why can't you just walk in here?
Yeah,
I almost wanted to see him try to walk in just to see what happened. Like if he was just gonna burn, or it was just gonna be like a wall that he just couldn't get in.
Yeah. Hey, when granted, when he did ask for that money, he did that little. Hey, I was just dying, hey, but also, I really thought Smoke. I really thought Smoke was just gonna toss the money. When he handed it to me, he grabbed him. He would have he would have got me. I would not have reacted. I would not have shot him. I would have said, "Oh shit!" I probably would have yelped.
Yeah, my arm would have been gone. Again, like there's so many things I'm seeing in this movie, and I'm just like, Dana, that was you. You'd probably be a vampire. You would be dead.
Oh man.
Also, I liked that. Like the other vampire theme where, you know, typically there's like a Dracula, and if you kill him, you kill everybody.
Yeah, you kill the spawns.
You gotta kill every single one. They're their own person. They're not like a hive mind. Like they are in terms of they share memories.
Yeah,
but
outside of that,
they're not they're their own being, which we see at the end. That shocked me. I'm like, damn,
bro.
I thought Miles was gone. I'm like, you really gonna do this to this old ass man? He can't do shit about it.
He 90.
He's 90 something, bro. Let him be. Bro.
He got like 3 years left, bro. Let him go.
I'm like, come on, man. I know Miles, because when niggas walked in there, I can only imagine his face. I literally in that moment imagine like the dog meme where he just like, because he's like, I'm good. I can't do shit.
Bro. Nah, when they walked in, I legit was like, when I heard them say, oh yeah, you could come in, I said, no way. I said, no way. I said, who is it?
Yeah.
And they showed them, I said,
I thought it was going to be Remick. I'm like, are you telling me this nigga's back?
Like he got reincarnated or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that scene was crazy. Also, I really liked how Wumi, how she played her character.
Oh yeah, Annie.
Annie, and I know Etchy, he told me that when she was in the shop praying, she was praying to Oshun. I think he said it's like an Igbo goddess. I think that's what he said. So. It's so many cultures that was put into this film that it really, and I know we've said this many times, it really shows you how life was back then. Even from Grace and them having the shops, their little markets and stuff, because a lot of times that's not put in the film, but it was there like Asian people were here in the South during this time. They weren't just in California building a railroad. Like
that shocked me.
Like they weren't just.
I'm like,
yeah.
Wow, that shocked me. Then I remember, I'm like, okay, this is the 1900s. People did migrate.
Yeah. Like,
I'm like, okay.
Yeah, like they were definitely in these communities with these shops.
I had to calm down for a little bit when I see them. I was like, are they supposed to be a play on like Asian niggas owning gas stations?
No, they were really here in the South during these times. So I really liked how they all interacted. Now, some more scenes I want to talk about. One, the vultures. I don't know if you've seen it, but the vultures, they always showed up where pretty much Remick or the vampires was going to go and actually kill something. Because when Remick first appeared, they showed the vultures above their house, the two white people in the country. But then also when they bought the juke joint, it was vultures above it, like during the daytime for a second's time. And I was like, oh, damn. Like, granted, you know they're going to show, but yeah, they showed them there. Another scene when Remick was when Remick was baptizing Sammy at the very end, when he was talking about, when he was just like, he was literally baptizing him. I thought that was a really powerful scene, because you hear Sammy saying that verse, but then you see Remick repeating it, and then Remick was like, oh yeah, I know that one. And then he starts talking about how when he was younger, pretty much talking about how when he was younger, he was abused too as well, but they always told that verse almost as a way of like, I'm doing this because God's telling me to do it. Yeah. So I thought that showing that dynamic on how that style of, I don't want to say it, well, yeah, abusive Christianity, that style of it is put onto some minority groups. Well, a lot of minority groups, because shoot, conquistadors and all the other stuff, they was conquering everything. But you get what I'm saying. Seeing that dynamic go from Remick to Sammy, where it's almost like Remick, in a sense, was seeing himself in Sammy in a way of like, look, you the same as me. And I think he said it. You know what? He did say it. I forgot which scene. I think it was either when they was at the front of the barn or right before then. He was like, Sammy, we the same. Like,
yeah, which is why he was trying to get him. Because I think Remick possessed like the same kind of powers, or just the same kind of musical presence Sammy did, which is why he was like, if I can get Sammy a part of my group, the power we could have. But you imagine Delta Blues, and some Irish shit, some Irish blues. Like, again, I don't want to say the wrong thing because I'm not hip to Irish musical culture.
Say Irish folk song,
Irish folk songs, Irish jigging.
Yeah, it was.
But that was crazy. I feel like I learned a lot. That movie can alter someone's brain chemistry right there.
Boy, I'm rewatching it. It's so much in this movie that makes you feel full, but not sick. It makes you feel like you've watched a good production, and it's love behind it. So shout out to everybody that helped with this movie.
Yep. Yeah, that was crazy. Do you think they're gonna make a second one?
I don't think so. I think this was a perfect by itself. I think what it does help with is, I know Ryan Coogler said he does want to get into horror or just other avenues of film. I think this shows, one, he can do it, and two, give him some money. Let's up that 90 mil to about 200, and really
Blade.
You know what? No, I don't even want. I'd rather him not even mess with Blade. Honestly, don't mess with no more. Don't mess with MC. Just let MCU go fix themselves first, and then you can call them up with a good check. But I would want to see more like original pieces by him, especially if you're doing this. Yeah, go ahead and get some more horror, man.
Yeah. Somebody take me.
Cool.
That scene brought chills in my body.
Bro, the music in there, I set up like I don't know how many times, especially when it was about to be nighttime. Boy, I was edge of my seat, boy. It's a great film, bro. It's
also thought it was funny that like when it ended, people started leaving because like even though credits were showing, and that's most people's cues to leave, but like there was still a movie being played in those scenes. Like
it was
saw his life pull out. It was a lot of movie.
It was a lot of movie after the movie ended. I'll say that.
Yeah.
It was like an extra 15 minutes at least. 10 to 15.
I feel like that's how movies, Marvel, DC, I'm talking to you. That's how end credit scenes should be. Not these one-liner jokes or these in-movie jokes that are addressed at the final end of the movie and a waste of minutes, a waste of my time. Or not even just like setting up like the movie is one theme and then out of nowhere it's like, hey, actually, you remember we got incursions coming up. Brave New World, I'm talking to you. But I feel like that's how end credit and mid credit scenes should be. Like a continue, like you have to stay because if you don't, you and the person next to you that left early did not watch the same movie. Mm-hmm. You can't talk to them about this movie because they haven't seen it all and you'd be spoiling it.
Yeah.
But man.
Yeah. Ryan Coogler, you did the damn thing. Oh, last piece. Ryan Coogler, you did the damn thing. Also, his wife was also a producer on here, ZZ Coogler.
Wow.
So, because it was an article where he talked about how when he talked to Christopher Nolan and it was Nolan and I don't want to say Matt Reeves. It was Nolan and like two other directors. He realized that their wives were producers or at least helping with the film a lot. And he was like, oh, I'm doing all this shit wrong. So then he got his wife to start helping him produce stuff. So yeah, she was a producer on here because it was him, his wife, and then Sev, what is his last name? Ohanian. They were the producers. So yeah, Ryan Coogler, you are setting yourself up.
Did that.
We've said it. You. It's not. You're going to be one of the biggest directors of our generation. You are. After this, you are. There's no denying it. There's no denying it.
And I feel like this is the return of creative cinema, original cinema.
Yes. Especially with him having the rights of it for 25 years. And I think that's also good for other directors to start doing. So these actual studios start, one, investing better and one, building out plans better for you all.
Yep.
Instead of just saying.
And it's just, yeah. Well, I was going to say, and it's just good, like, representation showing, like, we have ownership.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Like, we need more of that.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, that connect to the movie itself. All this stuff, hey, man, all this stuff is connected, boy. Oh, man.
Yes, it is. But, I don't know if you have anything else, but that pretty much concludes our review. This is not an episode. We are not doing a like it or redacted or our typical get in our bag. I will leave with a redacted rule, and that is to go watch Sinners now.
Yes.
And happy Easter Sunday. And just remember, even though you don't celebrate it, I understand there's some people, even my co-host, he does not follow that ideology. But, celebrate it how you want to.
If your friends celebrate it, tell them happy Easter, man.
Happy Egg Day. Even though it's not about eggs. It's about him rising. But, that being said, it's been your boy Dana Dane.
It's been your boy Wafik.
And we out.
Peace. Go watch Sinners. Yes, sir.
Recipes call me, I'ma show 'em how to shoot. On the 4-5, jump in the ass, my crew. Yeah, I'm stepping with a fed, keeping all of the hoes on mute. Pull up park, could be yellow with a brew. 48 for a quick burst. Crazy 8s in the back, yeah, the trunk on hot like a cue. 40 on me when I'm in the backseat. Blotter, paper pre-cup. Chris make juice, it'll drop like Shane came with a clean plate, came with a sink. The Parator came with a mate. Tricones white like paint. My hoe by the hoe, cause she know it's my king. Hit on my side, cause I drop a song. Think you should hit up the link. The phenotype came from the pink Colombian thing. Yeah, the genetics unique. Cellular right on the beat. I'm teaching the hoe like I'm Play-Doh. I got the veggies like by the tomato. You got a basic hoe making Alfredo. I put